Wikifiends. I'm your host, Joe.
I'm David.
And we're the Wikifiends. Normally, we would read you Wikipedia articles and then give you our opinions. But this week, it's a little different. It's going to be an hour and a half of me talking about my new moped. No, I'm just kidding. It's a normal episode, but we're talking over Skype. That's the only difference. Hopefully, it won't affect the quality, and hopefully, it'll be a good show.
That's right.
So the first article I have is Lina Medina. Have you heard of this person?
I have not.
Lina Medina, born September 27th, 1933, is a Peruvian woman who became the youngest confirmed mother in medical history, giving birth at the age of 5 years, 7 months, and 17 days. She lives in Lima, the capital of Peru. Born in Ticrapo, Peru, to silversmith Tiburello Medina and Victoria Loesia, Medina was brought to a hospital by her parents at the age of 5 years due to increasing abdominal size. She was originally thought to have had a tumor, but her doctors determined she was in her 7th month of pregnancy. Dr. Gerardo Lozada took her to Lima, Peru to have other specialists confirm that Medina was pregnant. Month and a half after the diagnosis, Medina, at the age of 5 years and 7 months, gave birth to a boy by cesarean section, which was necessitated by her small pelvis. This makes her the youngest known person in history to give birth. Surgery was performed by Lozada and Dr. Busaleo, with Dr. Coloretta providing anesthesia. All right. They found she had already fully matured sexual organs from precocious puberty. Are you familiar with that concept? Or that medical condition?
It's just you get puberty at a younger age.
Exactly. It's typically younger than 8 for a girl and younger than 9 for a boy.
Okay.
I guess 8 and 9 are considered sort of within a standard deviation, but anything under that is precocious. So it says here, Medina has never revealed the father of the child nor the circumstances for her impregnation. It is suggested she might not actually know herself, given that Medina couldn't give precise responses. Although Lina's father was arrested on suspicion of child sexual abuse, he was later released due to lack of evidence, and the biological father who impregnated Lina was never identified. Medina's son grew up healthy and died in 1979 at the age of 40. And it doesn't say of what. But it goes on to say, in young adulthood, Medina worked as a secretary in a clinic, in the Lima clinic of Lozada, who gave her an education and helped put her son through high school. She later married and had a second son in 1972. As of 2002, they live in a poor district of Lima known as Chicago Chico, or Little Chicago, and she has refused interviews with many reporters over the years. Initially suspected as a hoax, a number of doctors over the years have verified it based on biopsies, x-rays of the fetal skeleton in utero, and photographs taken by the doctor caring for her. Except for the effects of precocious puberty, there was no explanation of how a 5-year-old girl could conceive a child. And I guess she's the only documented case of extreme precocious puberty. Yeah, so I guess we should state off the bat that it's pretty horrible what happened to her. She was,
Well, yeah, the implication that she was sexually abused at a young age.
She was raped as a child.
Well, extremely young, yeah.
Yes, as a and not that it's ever good, but I mean it has to be very horrible as a child, I would imagine.
I don't know. This, definitely a special kind of heinousness.
Yeah, it would definitely get the attention of detectives Benson and Stabler.
No, it's totally a SVU case.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I feel I have some reservations about I had some reservations initially about bringing this up because, it's a non-public figure who's still alive.
Right.
And it seems like she hasn't wanted any, media attention, but it's a very odd medical case that,
Well, it is kind of a horrible thing that, it's just your experience you went through, but it becomes it's like a medical anomaly and like a moral, you know what I mean? It's just this loaded thing.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw 5 years old, it's like, that's like having a little brother. I mean, 5, that's like,
Right.
It's not like when you should have a child, I mean, and it seems like she paid for, like, it's like a horrible situation. Because it seems like she provided for the child's, well-being. It's like, how could that even be? I guess maybe when she was old enough to work, she helped take care of him. But there's no way a 5-year-old can support a infant.
No, it's so close. I mean, it's like that babies making babies thing they always say, but like it's so close to that. It's just like, I mean, this is like literally that practically.
Yeah, this is the closest to literally babies having babies. Now, I might be getting into dangerous territory, but the man that they have not identified the rapist / biological father, but it's like, I mean, clearly a horrible person. But
Definitely.
it's now, do you think it's a case of, I'm trying to get in the mindset, which maybe I shouldn't, but do you think it's a case of, like, in his eyes, it was okay since she was medically, sexually mature?
I mean,
or
that's assuming that, like, the rapist had any foreknowledge whatsoever of the medical anomaly. I mean,
do you think it's
do
you think it's like a thing? Well, I can do it because nothing. There's no repercussions.
I'd say the Occam's razor on this is that probably not. He's probably just a rapist that raped kids. And,
he's probably just a pedophile.
Right. Or, I mean, it's a sexually abusive family member. There's a whole... I mean, that's the most obvious thing.
Well, it seems like they could easily test the father to see if it was,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they could do that even then, give him a blood test and see if that was... Because this was in the 30s.
This is in the 30s.
Yeah, this was 1939. So it seems like they'd be able to tell if it was Lina Medina's father, but he was released, so.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, maybe DNA testing wasn't.
I don't know. They didn't have DNA testing, but they had regular blood tests.
Yeah.
And they could rule it out if it wasn't the right blood test, but I don't know. It's very, very disturbing.
Yeah, it's a very grisly story. It's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just didn't, I didn't know if that was like a thing. Maybe I was reading, like, if that was like some like sick, that I think men say it in a joking way, but that thing where it's like, if there's grass on the field, it's fair play, Have you ever heard that shit?
No, I have. That's like, in some countries, I mean, that is the way it is. Like, it's like a cultural thing.
Yeah, and like, well, I know, like, here it's, I don't think anyone that says it literally means that. I think they're trying to be like, a
cheeky.
reverent. Yeah, or like, just like, yeah, they're trying to, be somewhat offensive to offend morals or whatever.
I think you're being optimistic. I think there's...
You think, yeah, I get, well, I've heard it many times from people that I didn't think were, gross or bad people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there are people that actually believe it, but I always took it to just they were trying to be, they're trying to be, they're trying to be salacious or scandalous. But
well, it is really, it's like, I mean, of course it's obnoxious because it's sexually hostile and aggressive, but I mean,
yes.
But it's just extremely fucking ignorant. It's just like, I don't care about all the years of medical research and psychological research that have gone into abuse and, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's grass, it's playtime. Like,
yeah, it's almost like
willfully ignorant. Yeah,
it's wordplay allows you to be disgusting. Like that, like that's the sort of
right
underlying thing behind that phrase. It's
right.
like you would never say oh, she's like, people that would say that line would not say, well, she has pubic hair, so I don't care if she's 12, I'd still fuck her.
That's the thing, like, I mean, and it's like, it's almost like, why don't you just say that if, like,
because I don't think people really believe that. I think they're trying to, I'm sure the people that do believe it would not
right
openly say, they would be like, no, or they would be like, no, I'm a regular guy,
Yeah. I'm just a regular guy. If there's grass on the field, I play,
Yeah. I don't really, it's not good. It's not a good thing.
No, it's fucking like, I mean, of course it's completely disgusting and criminal, but there's also just something I find to be just like, like intellectually bankrupt on it. It's just fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah, I don't like I don't really like the cliche offensiveness,
Yeah,
like the stock, stock taboo, sort of, stock irreverence or whatever.
No, there's weird. It's like I was talking to my buddy about this, and it is like we're talking about really off-color humor, and it is weird. It's like all about context in a lot of ways. I mean, you're right that too. Just straight up, really, if there's grass on the field, play like old hand, traditionally gross stuff is just really annoying and trite. But there's something about like if it's like a smug asshole making really black humor jokes, or it seems almost a little less offensive if it is like a total fucking like psycho, you know what I mean? Like a guy with feces on him, and
yeah, I don't think that's good either. No one wants to interact with that. But.
No, but for some reason it seems like kind of more palatable if it's like a legit like crazy person.
Well, I would say I have nothing wrong. I have no problem with like black humor, or I guess not that I particularly like black humor or dark humor,
gallows humor,
any of that. But it's like, not that I particularly like it, but I would say that my belief is that anything could be made to be humorous, Yeah. There's the, but
No, yeah.
I'm not one to say that all, there are some topics that are off limits for humor, but, it can't, like, to me, it can't just be like, it can't just be cliche, like, ha ha ha, like having a beer with the boys, Yeah. It's like, I don't know.
No, it's a weird thing because it is like, I like really enjoy, like, really, bad jokes and bad humor. But there is like, and I really believe in like self-censorship in a way. Like, you have to know like context and, like there's a lot of factors to doing it right and doing it so it's funny and it isn't just like, just creepy fucking creepy ass uncle like shit. You know what I mean? Like there's a fine line.
No, it is a creepy uncle thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's I mean, that's a short one, but it's very. I mean, that's one of those very weird medical like anomalies. It's a combination of medical anomaly and then also just horrible the horrible realities of life.
No, it does raise questions, though, about kind of like cultures of sexual abuse and kind of normalize sexual abuse, you know what I mean? Like, it raises up a lot of issues that are important issues.
Well, I don't know if it, like, I mean, they did, it seems like the people investigating it knew it was wrong. No one investigating it thought it was okay, because, they arrested the father, which,
yeah.
I guess usually a family member is probably like
most likely suspect, right?
Yeah, just because that's who would have the most contact with
right.
the child. But yeah, they released him for for lack of evidence. But it doesn't seem like anyone treated it as something other than a terrible thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I find interesting, they say he grew up healthy. The son, he grew up healthy and died at the age of 40. I'd be very interested to see what his cause of death was. Like if it was something related to it, or if it was just like he was in a car accident or something like that.
You would think that, even if you were precocious puberty, you still wouldn't be entirely developed, you would think. But, I don't know.
No, how could you be?
How could you be, yeah. Like,
it's not like she's like, it's not like she was like a Jack, the Robin Williams. She didn't, I'm sure she still looked like a child, but, maybe she had...
Internally, yeah.
And maybe she even had some feet, but there's no way, because I'm sure they would reference her growing at an extraordinary rate. They don't mention that. It's just standard, a child who had developed to a point of sexual maturity.
Right. Well, people did used to live much shorter lives, it's not... It's not.
No, this was in the 30s, man.
No, I know it was in the 30s, but what I'm saying is that there is a part of human biology that at one point, we didn't live very long. We probably did reproduce at a younger age, but even that seems insane,
I don't...
though.
This is not in that time period. And even then, that was, it was not a 5-year-old,
Yeah, no, even then there would be more than 5 years.
You're talking like antiquity,
Yeah.
You're talking,
or pre-antiquity, yeah.
Or maybe Middle Ages. I'm sure, depending on where it is or what's going on, But this was not that time period, and even if it was 5 years old, would never have been the time that you would be considered, an adult. Never.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, it's more in science than cultural, so, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, well, what do you have up?
Okay, so my first one is novel of circulation. This is a literary genre. It's also known as it narrative or object narrative. It's the genre of a novel common at one time in British lit that follows the fortunes of an object. For example, a coin that is passed around between different owners. Sometimes instead...
Wait, what? I'm sorry, could you repeat the title of this? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, novel of circulation.
Okay.
Sometimes it involves a pet or other domestic animal. For example, Francis Coventry's The History of Pompey the Little. This and other such works blended satire with the interest for contemporary readers of roman à clef. And a roman à clef is French for a novel with a key, is a novel about real life overladen with a facade of fiction.
Mm-hmm. Now, I really like this or not that I really like this genre or this form, but there are a lot of movies I like that have this format.
Yeah, that utilize things like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess and they don't really use it in like Pulp Fiction, but there's kind of like almost an aspect of that.
I wouldn't say Pulp Fiction, because it follows it follows characters, not so much object.
Right.
I mean, their whole swatches of that movie that the object, the briefcase, is not involved at all.
Right.
I'd say the briefcase is rarely involved.
It's kind of a central object, but yeah.
Well, it's the the impetus for all the action, but it doesn't. None of the scenes, they don't revolve. None of the scenes follow that object. It's just sometimes characters come in contact with it, but a lot of times the characters have nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of them, I would say. Only a couple scenes really have to do with the briefcase. I would say The Red Violin. Have you seen that?
No.
The Red Violin, that's it's a movie about a red violin that from I think from the 1600s up to present day, and all the owners throughout history.
Is it like a drama?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I really like that. It's a ensemble cast because it.
You're right. It's episodic.
Yeah. I know Samuel L. Jackson is in it.
So, this is I'm looking at the examples of it, like some of these old books that were in this style. Some of these have pretty funny names, like in 1734, Anonymous, The Secret History of an Old Shoe.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I know. 1771, Thomas Bridges, The Adventures of a Banknote.
Well, that's like the movie $20 with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I don't know that. I'll just see that. It sounds funny.
$20 is about a $20 bill that goes. It starts out being given to Brendan Fraser as a wedding gift, and then like he foolishly spends it instead of holding on to it.
$20.
Well, the premise was like Brendan Fraser was marrying the daughter of an immigrant, and then the father of the bride to be gave him the $20, and it was like the first $20 he made when he came to America.
Oh, I see. So it's like Scrooge's first dime he ever made, or something. There's like
yeah.
And
it's like, so it's kind of like he like gives it to a stripper at his bachelor party.
Oh, I see. But it was like this special 20, right? That had this loaded meaning.
Yeah, and then it goes to like, I don't know, it's involved in a bank or like a liquor store robbery. I forget. I haven't seen it in years. But Steve Buscemi's also in it. And all these, Samuel L. Jackson was in Pulp Fiction and Steve Buscemi. All they have in common is the briefcase, I guess. I guess that's how the briefcase is sort of involved.
Yeah, I'm pretty into this. I might play with this. I really like this, actually, this style.
You're saying it's grist for some of your own work?
Oh, yeah. No, I was kind of I was considering maybe doing a game on the genres, but I just like, well, I should probably look at a few of them, and I saw this one. I'm like, God, this is like really good. Like,
do they have any more modern day examples of this?
The latest one is from 1897, The Story of a Red Deer by John William Fortescue. Let me see. So
they don't have a movie section? I know there was a TV show about a gun also.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe in the 60s that followed like I think it was like Tales of the Gun or something.
Yeah, this seems incomplete. I mean, it's specifically talking about the novel of circulation, which is also known as it narrative or object narrative. So there might be a broader term for this kind of trope, but
maybe I shouldn't have been saying all those things that are not part of the actual definition of it. Then
no, but you know, it's like it's like the difference between Pulp Fiction and kind of just like lowbrow fiction. You know what I mean? This is a particular time-related example of it.
Mm-hmm. Again, I don't think Pulp Fiction is a good example. But no, but I do like that. I do like this sort of literary device.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty it's pretty simple, but it's pretty strong.
It's a good way to have vignettes. It seems like it's a good like
excuse for that.
Yeah, because sometimes like vignettes is just kind of like I mean, not that there needs to be something that ties it together, but like it's fun,
It's interesting that they're saying that this thing about the Roman enclave or whatever. I didn't really understand what that really is, but I kind of get what it is. It's supposed to be like it's a very veiled satire. Like, I don't know, like Primary Colors about Bill Clinton or something, you know what I mean? But I guess it would be, but you're using the novel of circulation to do a thinly veiled riff on some real person, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of an interesting cross-section that it's used, you know what I'm saying? Like, probably to talk shit about somebody, but it's like, oh, but it's from the story of a key, like, that's kind of interesting.
I think it could also make a good game. Like
How so?
No, well, not for us to make, but it would be an interesting thing to have in like a video game, like a story-based game.
Or yeah, it's just like right. I could see what that like you.
I mean, it'd be a good way to play as different characters,
Yeah, exactly. Like if it's the briefcase, you play as the gangster, and then you play as the cop who arrests the gangster. Well, or shit like that. Like,
I guess Eternal Darkness might sort of be like that. It sort of has elements of that. Not really though, but.
I think in Hotline Miami too, there's some shit like you play as the main characters and then you switch over to a cop in the station. There's some kind of like shifting.
Well, that's not related to this idea, but
yeah, but it's kind of it's the episodic ways.
Is that in the second Hotline Miami?
I believe so.
Yeah, I haven't played that one. The first one's really good.
No, I like that. Totally different topic. That's a whole other bag of worms.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we go on to our next one?
Yeah. Do you want to play a game or anything, or you just want to keep going through?
Let's save the games to the end.
Okay.
All right. The next one I have is Molloy. Molloy is an American TV series that aired on Fox from July 25th, 1990 until August 29th, 1990. So that's, a few, I guess 4 or 5 weeks. As a carefree New York, it's about a carefree New York native preteen girl whose life is turned upside down when her divorced father moves her to Los Angeles upon remarrying. Molloy Martin was a happy-go-lucky 11-year-old who was reasonably well-adjusted to a household of divorce, living with her single mother in New York while amiable father Paul was remarried and living in Los Angeles. Molloy was used to seeing her father fly in on weekends for visitation rights and thought she knew him all too well, until she found her world turned upside down. Her mother suddenly died, and Molloy had no choice but to relocate and move in with Paul and his family. Molloy was excited about the new location, but not necessarily about having a new extended family. Now, this might not sound like a big, anything important at all. I'm talking about a TV show that ran for 7 episodes in 1990. The star of it, though, was Mayim Bialik. Does that name sound familiar?
Yes. Who the fuck is that?
Mayim Bialik was Blossom on the show Blossom.
That's right.
And here's what's interesting. Mayim Bialik was hot off of the film Beaches. Did you ever see Beaches? It's one of my grandmother's favorites.
No.
Beaches is about 2 friends, sort of from different sides of the track, that meet, at a beach, I guess, or like a beach resort. One's played by Bette Midler, and one's played by Barbara Hershey. And they meet as children, and Mayim Bialik plays Bette Midler as a child.
Okay. And
she got a lot of positive attention for this.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is Fox developed Molloy in 1990. NBC developed Blossom in 1990. So there were 2 shows, both centered upon a character played by Mayim Bialik at the same time, which I had never heard of, really. I can't think of any instance in which a star had 2 shows fighting it out to see which would be the one that sort of survives,
She's not hedging her bets. She's playing the whole board.
Well, it seems like it wasn't necessarily spearheaded by her, but I'm sure her family or her agents definitely had something to do with it. But it was these 2 networks competing with each other. Molloy was set to debut first, I believe. Let me see here. But Blossom came out as a sort of a backdoor pilot.
Right.
So they made sort of, like a backdoor pilot. They produce it so that if it doesn't work as a pilot, if it doesn't work as a series, it could just be a standalone thing.
Right.
Blossom was had higher ratings and had a more positive critical reception. So Blossom eventually won out. And Molloy sort of just died off. And I remember, it's just very odd to me that I can't think of any time that a star has been that hot that they had competing TV networks.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big, I guess the big 3 were CBS, NBC, and ABC, and Fox was sort of the upstart still at that point.
Mm-hmm.
They had The Simpsons. I don't know if The Simpsons was in its infancy, but they had Married with Children. They had 21 Jump Street.
Right.
But they weren't as big as the other 3.
Right.
So there were 2 stations fighting it out to see whose show starring this actress would win. And it's like, I can't think of any actor ever before that had two competing shows, especially one that was 12 years old. It's very odd to me.
It is odd because it seems like normally that they make people sign contracts where they aren't able to do that.
Yeah, like non-compete.
Yeah, that's really she had did good deals.
Yeah, and I remember when Blossom was on because my mom liked it, and I remember her saying at one point when I maybe I was watching it with her towards the tail end of the series. Maybe it's something I was watching because I used to watch it in syndication. I remember talking to my mom about it, and my mom was like, "Oh yeah, Mayim Bialik's so talented," and I just kind of thought, it's a show about her, but I didn't think, I liked it, And I never thought really one way, but I guess at the time, she was a really big deal.
Well, I mean, it is weird because it is kind of just like, it just seems so arbitrary. Like, she just seems like, your run-of-the-mill kind of like, drama, comedy actor, It's kind of like, oh God, have you seen Full House? Like, Bob Saget, I mean, this guy is amazing. Like, it just seems, you know what I mean? It seems like completely arbitrary. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, I guess like, she was in Beaches, so everyone liked her in that.
Yeah.
It's just it's very odd to me, but it doesn't seem like something that would happen now, though, does it?
I mean, I guess, like, I bet there's other examples of this, but none are leaping out at me.
I can't, I mean, maybe something from a long time ago, but I can't think of anything, It's not like they had, I don't know, like, I can't even come up with a good example of someone who would have been big from a movie, then got a show, Also, apparently, this was Molloy was Jennifer Aniston's first TV role. She played Mayim Bialik's snooty stepsister.
I see.
Mm.
Yeah, she does seem snooty.
I guess she was pretty young when that came out. Do you like Blossom? Do you ever watch that show?
Yeah, and like, what is it? The whole thing is about like her like silly hats and shit. Like, it was her.
No, that wasn't the whole thing about it, but
no, but that was an important like part of the brand, though. I feel like.
Yeah, well, the popping up with a hat, that was like her. That would happen in like the opening, the intro segment.
Yeah, wasn't her thing like she was like real like quirky and like artistic and shit?
Yeah, well, like she was always dancing in the intro. And I think she may have been prone to like maybe light flights of fancy.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I thought. Like, it's kind of, she's like a free spirited protag.
I recently watched all the intros to Blossom. They're really good. It's like, I guess I could see where my mom was coming from, because, like, she's a little kid and she's doing all this dancing, and it's like, it's really fun.
It's just like real positive and like upbeat and like well done.
Well, the one thing I recall, which I thought was kind of weird, is like I was on Tumblr and I saw there was a GIF of Blossom from like the intro from the first season where she's like really young, and she's like doing all this dancing, and it did look really impressive in the GIF, and it had like a huge amount of notes. So it's like it's like people today, like younger people today, must be like, yeah, that's hot, or that's tight, or whatever kids say.
It's a curious thing. Like, I would like to understand more about, because I mean, I do understand why that show is so popular and why, I understand the fascination, but I kind of don't though as well.
Well, I recall liking the show. I mean, I thought it was good. I still like it. I wish it was on Netflix, but it's not.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, but I don't want to watch it on YouTube. I want it to come to Netflix. Hopefully one of our many listeners is a higher up at Netflix and can bring that to the attention of whoever is in charge of acquiring the rights to things.
Hopefully one of our listeners can make it easy for me to watch Blossom.
I want to see the whole thing again. I remember she had a boyfriend at one point, Vinny, and it was the guy that played Ted on Hey Dude. You ever watch Hey Dude?
No.
I used to watch that all the time. It was a fun show.
It's such a shitty name for a show.
I'm pretty sure it was not a good show. It was like a Nickelodeon show about like teenagers that worked at a dude ranch in Arizona.
Was that literally what it was? That's so fucking stupid.
Well, it was about like teens that worked at a dude ranch in Arizona, but also it had a transplanted owner and his son, and they were from New York. So it's sort of like a fish out of water thing, you know?
City slickers, yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That title makes more sense now. I always thought it was just like, Hey Dude was just probably about some fucking dude, you know what I mean?
Well, you know that's where dude comes from. It comes from the
dude ranch.
Dude was like, I'm pretty sure dude was like a Western...
Cowboy word.
No, a dude was a Western term for like a city slicker.
Was it?
Yeah, like a guy that was like sort of like lacked sort of the skills necessary to be out on the range, and who was like a fancy dresser.
I thought yeah, actually I have heard of that, and like I feel like it kind of used to have more association with like dandy.
Yeah, like an effete man, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they cared more about having his clothes nice than about doing real work. And a dude ranch is where they would go to sort of experience what it was like to be, a cowboy.
It's like it's a dandy's version of slumming it.
Yeah. Well, it would be the 1800s version of slumming it, I guess.
Oh no! This all right. I love this article. I wasn't even gonna read this one, but I'm just gonna.
Is it about dude ranches?
It's about dudes. Like it's Evander Barry Wall was a New York socialite and later an American expatriate in France. He is famous for his extravagantly refined look and was crowned King of Dudes in 1880s. You got to hear some of this.
Yeah. Okay.
He's extremely wealthy. At the age of 16, he owned his first racehorse. He inherited $2 million before the age of 22. Wall became a leader of America's Cafe Society, a group of rich socialites. He generally wore a very extraordinary costume, a dust coat of reddish Havana brown, a suit made of large gray shepherd plaid check, extremely wide trousers tapered at the ankle, and turned up several inches to display white spats and highly varnished shoes. He was properly credited with the possession of over 500 trousers and over 5,000 neckties.
How you describing it, it kind of sounds like a guy that would be like in an Edward Gorey drawing.
No, when you look at pictures of him too, like he looks like you know how like when babies will wear like a big like pea coat, like their legs will look really little, like that's
what
he looks like a fucking baby, you know. Like,
it's weird. I'm not familiar with the idea of babies wearing pea coats though.
Or just like a little kid with a huge like an oversized coat, like he just has these little spindly legs. But listen to this, like. Wall is credited for being the first person in the United States to wear a dinner jacket tuxedo to a ball. The white ensemble had been sent to him by the London Savile Row tailor Henry Poole & Co. to be worn for a quiet dinner at home or an evening's entertainment at a summer resort. This was at a time when tailcoat was still the rule, and Wall was immediately ordered off the floor. So he's the first guy to wear a tux to a ball.
Well, a dinner tux, it says.
That's right.
So maybe that was a tux without a tail?
Without a tail.
Yeah, they were used to tail tux. Tail tucks were de rigueur.
All right, let me get his Parisian grandeur.
Okay.
When in Paris, Wall and his wife were famous members of the European social elite. Their social circle included the Duchess of Windsor, the Grand Duke Dmitry of Russia, the Aga Khan, and the ex-King Nicholas of Montenegro, whom Walt called a magnificent old darling. They lived in a suite in the Hotel Merci with a string of chow dogs named Chi-Chi or Tao-Tao, Toy rather. This was located conveniently near the bespoke shirt maker Charvet, where Wall had his signature spread eagle collars and cravats custom made for himself and his dog. Waltz always dined at the Ritz with his dog, whose collars and ties were made by Charvet in the same style and fabric as his master's. Wall wrote, during World War I, Wall stayed in France and put all their social connections to use for their fundraising efforts on behalf of wounded servicemen. Each of the Walls was awarded the French Legion of Honor Medal. Well, that's nice. Wall wrote his memoirs in his late 70s, and they were published after his death in 1940. His wife had died in 1936. He ascribed his longevity to the fact he never saw physicians and always drank champagne instead of water, claiming that there are more old drunkards than there are old doctors. He noted, "I keep reminding myself as I draw near my last great duty, the obligation upon me to thank God I believe in for the gift of life." When he died, he had only left 12,000, having squandered nearly every cent on pleasure. So
he lived it up.
He really did. I mean, he had the means to, though. $2 million before the age of 22. That's a lot, especially then. So,
all right. Well, do you want to do one short one more each, and then we'll go to the games?
Yeah, sure. I got one. And you want to
go? You want to do yours?
Sure. So
I'll do mine.
No, I just read that Barry Wall stuff, so that pretty much counts as one. So why don't you go?
All right. So the next one I have is, let me pull up which one I'm going for. Is Butts Up. Have you heard of this?
No.
I'll give you some also known as titles: Burn Ball, Ballsies, Chinese Suicides, Peanut Butter, Rump Rounders, Buttock Blocker, Red Butt, Blackjack.
It sounds sexual, but kind of not, though, too. Like,
well, I got a bunch more. Assies, Red Ass, or Cockface. Rehab and Tea, Wall Ball, Slaughterhouse, Fumble, Butt Ball, Bear Trap, Asses Up, Suicide, Stitch, Peg, Balls Deep.
Is this sexual abuse? Like, what is this?
It's got more. Fire in the Bum, A-Ball, Buns Up, Booties Up, Electric Booty, No Fear, Red Bum, Jetters, Red Ass, Red Out, Sting, Error, Off the Wall, Kirby, Spread, Burn, Murder Ball, or Blue Gooch.
What the fuck are you talking about? What is this?
All right, I'll start. Butts Up is a North American elementary school children's playground game originating in the 1950s or earlier. Butts Up or Booties Up began in the 40s or 50s as a penalty phase of various city street games. It's played with a ball on a paved surface against a wall with a variable number of participants, usually more than 3 and often likely to exceed 10. Butts Up tends to be played during recess or after school. The game is co-ed, although in practice, its aggressive nature attracts mostly boys.
Mm-hmm. I actually think I have played this under the name Wall Ball. I think you read that too.
Yeah, that's the thing. The object of the game is to be the last player remaining in the game after all other players are out. In some variations of the game, there is no specific object of the game. Play continues until time runs out. In this variation, when players are out 3 times, they must lean against the wall and wait to be hit by the ball. So what it is, basically, how we played, this has sort of different rules, but how we played was a player who has the ball would throw the ball at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, if the ball bounced back without hitting the ground and someone caught it, the person who threw it would then have to run to the wall. If they failed to run to the wall before the catcher could throw the ball to the wall, they'd have to stand at the wall with their butt facing out, and they would get the ball thrown at their butt.
It's harsh.
Is that how you played?
I don't see that the anal part of it did not come into it. I believe we would just, like, ball was, you would throw the ball at the wall, and you had to catch it before it hit the ground. And if it hit you, I think it's you get hit with the ball if you don't touch the wall first. I think it's not about butt, like, punishment.
Ours was definitely about butt. And we called it butts up. And if like, let's say you tried to catch it, but you, like, fumbled and it like touched your fingertips, but you dropped it. If someone else scooped it up and threw it to the wall before you could touch the wall,
yeah,
you would have to stand on the wall with your butt facing out, and then the guy who got it would slam the ball against your butt.
I wonder, like, is that game part of, like, school curriculum? Like, it's like...
No, it was strictly a recess game.
Yeah. It sounds like out of the sphere of control.
I remember there was one kid who I was sort of friends with, but I'll say his name, Dominic A.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at one point he got really excited, and this was in elementary school. And he yelled, "You're in my house now, son."
That ass is mine.
Yeah. Could you imagine a 10-year-old fucking saying that?
Kids always get so fucking into that shit, though. Like, so hype.
I remember actually liking that game a lot.
You know, when I used to live in Florida, I hated sports. Like, I always hated sports as a kid. But there was a kid who lived nearby that I was friends with, and he just was a very athletic kid. So all he wanted to do was fucking play basketball or, you know, baseball, and we played actually quite a bit of wall ball too. I hadn't thought of this until you started going over the rules. I remember playing this actually, and I just hated it though. It's like every time I'd go over there, be like, "Can we go inside?" He's like, "Nah, man, let's play some basketball." It's like, fuck this. You know?
Yeah, you were not a fan of the game.
No. I mean, he was a cool kid. I mean, he's a nice kid. You know, I mean, I was, but like, I just fucking was like, yo, I know you have like a Super Nintendo in your house, dude, and there's an AC. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
yeah, I remember liking it a lot, but also it wasn't like it wasn't like a thing that we would sort of constantly playing. It was like every once in a while.
You know, I remember I used to one game I used to play. What's the one with the fucking the ball on the string?
Tetherball?
Tetherball. Yeah.
You're not talking about like where you have to get the ball in the cup, are you?
No, tetherball. That's the one. It's just
tetherball's fun.
It's two people. I remember actually like I was pretty like, you know, I was kind of like I imagine a lot of little boys were. I didn't like hang out with I mainly hang out with other boys. But I do remember distinctly one summer where it's kind of, you know, they drop you off at school and you kind of just fuck around all day. It's just kind of like, it's like, there's no classes. It's kind of like recess all day. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a form of babysitting, I guess the school would do.
Was that just like daycare or like day? It sounds like day camp, actually.
Day camp, that's exactly what it was. And
yeah.
I remember I actually did kind of have this like thing where I would play tetherball with this girl, and I remember it was kind of like really nice because it's such an easy game because you would just talk, like, you know what I mean, you could have like a conversation and do it, and I remember I actually did that a lot. Like,
yeah.
It was kind of like the thing I would do at the end of the day. I think at the beginning of the day, you'd fuck around with the boys, and then, you know, you'd eat lunch, and then you'd kind of wind down and play. It's a really weird kind of like cycle, you know what I mean? Like,
it sounds really fun though.
It's funny in like retrospect. It seems like so like kind of like idealistic, you know, kind of just like
idyllic.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like real, like if I had to do, like, if there was like days where it was that instead of work, it seems like it'd be.
You gotta make more money, man. That is how it is.
It seems like that would be like a fun thing if like your boss is like, "Oh, today's just
tetherball day,
day camp."
It's like, yeah, right. Like you're gonna climb up a big wooden wall at the beginning of the day, and then the rest of the day we'll play tetherball and have a conversation. Like, you know, it's just like that would be. Yeah. I mean,
as much as I prefer being an adult, there are some things where it's like, oh, that does seem pretty fun, you know?
No, it's weird to, yeah, when you think about it. Like I like socializing, and it's weird to me to think about there was this thing you could do where you could talk to somebody and do something. It's weird.
I should add, though, I have played tetherball with someone who was really into tetherball, and it's kind of like there's no talking. It's just them, you know, aggressively hitting, and then mocking you when you're not that good at it.
Well, it sounds like, yeah, a shitty person.
Well, it's a person who's like, you could be like, I'd be like, oh, I'm pretty good at tetherball, you know, but I only played it when I was a kid, and like,
yeah,
all right, man, but like I'm gonna kill you in this, you know.
God.
And then they do beat you at it.
No chill, no fun.
You know, I'm sure there are some things that I am like that though, so I can't really fault them. You know,
someone's going it as a cash, and you're going into it hardcore. Like, yeah.
I kind of felt that way. One time I was at Greg's place, and Greg had Mortal Kombat on his Xbox. And like I still remember moves from Mortal Kombat, so I was like doing
wiping their ass.
I was doing like fatalities and shit. And like there was one point where like people were looking away, and I went, "Look!"
Just like, yeah. You were just all about it. Like,
I was like, I really wanted people to know that I could, you know, get a fatality, and like I could saw my opponent in half. You know,
you should have said shit like, "You're in my house, son." Fatality, bitch.
Yeah. I'm a big Kung Lao proponent.
Oh yeah.
You know? All right. Well, maybe you and I should. Maybe you and I should play a game of Butts Up sometime. We should get a couple more people and play some Butts Up.
Hey, what's up? I'm trying to get posted on Craigslist. I'm trying to get some people together for some Blue Gooch.
Well, I was reading Blue Gooch was a variant where you'd have to spread your legs and they would try to hit your balls. They'd try to hit your either your balls or your perineum.
They really need to put a stop to these things. Like,
it seems like a thing where it's like, you know, like there's a thing where like a lot of schools are like, oh, no more dodgeball. It seems like Butts Up would definitely be a thing that would be like
maybe it's considered like dodgeball. It's like a dodgeball variant, you know.
You know, I also like dodgeball.
Yeah.
I did have a lot of aggression, so
right.
I definitely liked hitting kids with balls.
No,
but not as a bully, just like I liked it in the context of a game, you know.
Yeah.
And I recall they were pretty, like, they weren't the rubber balls. I think they weren't like hard rubber balls. They were fairly soft, I recall.
Dodgeball is always there's kind of a gladiatorial aspect to it. Like it's like Thunderdome for kids. It's like an all-out kind of mayhem, which is quite intoxicating. I always did like it when that would happen. But Did you like
dodgeball?
I did, especially if it was the thing where, I don't know, was it when you have a bunch of people in the middle and then people on either side that are trying to hit hitters and runners or whatever? There was like, I can't remember, we called it like Dead Man or something, where
I'm not familiar with that variant.
It's like, there's only two people that actually get to throw it, and then everybody else is kind of just trying to run out of the way. It's like a fish in a barrel kind of thing. Like,
I really only played the the all out one.
Yeah. The teams.
Yeah.
That was kind of a good... I was good at that, though, because, like, I was good at getting other people hit.
Yeah.
Body, what is it? Body shielding, you know?
Oh, you mean your own teammates?
Yeah, well, no, they weren't your team. You know, you're out for yourself. It's whoever won was whoever was the last one standing who didn't get hit. You know.
Oh, so it wasn't just a team thing?
No, it was kind of like it was kind of like it was like a metaphor for like society. You know, you're trying to get out.
Well,
you'd be the last.
I recall
one.
the thing was you wouldn't want more of your teammates to get out because there's going to be a point where if you've got a bunch of it's just you and then a bunch of people on the opposing side, like they're going to fucking cream you, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I recall enjoying it a lot.
All right. You want to move on? I got one more and then you want to do our games?
Yeah.
All right. So this concept is of a toilet god. A toilet god is a deity associated with latrines and toilets. Belief in toilet gods, a type of household deity, have been known from both modern and ancient cultures, ranging from Japan to ancient Rome. Such deities have been associated with health, well-being, and fertility because of the association between human waste and agriculture, and have been propagated in a variety of ways, including making offerings, invoking and appeasing them through prayers, meditating, and carrying out ritual actions, such as clearing one's throat before entering, or even biting the latrine to transfer spiritual forces back to the gods. And
biting?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What is this clearing one's throat before entering?
Good.
So, in the ancient usage of it, the inhabitants of Rome had a sewer goddess, a toilet god, and a god of excrement. The sewer goddess, Cloacina, named from the Latin word cloa or sewer, was borrowed from Etruscan mythology and became seen as a protectress of the Cloacia Maxima, Rome's sewage system. An early Roman ruler, Titius Titus, built a shrine to her in his toilet. She was invoked if the sewers became blocked or backed up. She was later merged with a better-known Roman goddess Venus and was worshipped at the shrine of Venus Cloacia in the Roman Forum. The Romans are alleged by some to have a toilet god in the form of Crepius, who was also the god of flatulence and was evoked if a person had diarrhea or constipation. They additionally proposed Circodius, named from Stercus or excrement, the god of dung, who is particularly important to farmers in fertilizing their fields with manure.
That one seems like the most like you could get behind.
What?
The one about like dung, because that's like yeah, you need to grow your crops, but like the other one's like the diarrhea god.
Well, no, the god of dung was invoked if you had diarrhea.
Oh, he was the same guy.
He was the same god. The other god was Clocina,
the sewer god.
Sewer goddess, yeah.
Yeah, sewer goddess.
It's like, oh, please, goddess, let this shit go down.
I definitely have had like some close calls in public bathrooms where I had diarrhea, and it's like, oh God.
Clocina. Or what? That would be different. That'd be Creepus.
Save me.
Great Cryptus. I've got shit on my legs.
Yeah. Imagine making a sacrifice to that god.
It smells like someone hasn't been paying their dues to Crepus in here. Like, you know,
like you leave a scented candle on the altar.
Yeah, you leave a magazine.
Like you leave a people and a can of Lysol.
Mm. You want to hear some of the more modern ones?
Yeah, sure.
So in Japan, belief in the toilet god, or kawaii kami, served the dual purpose. Most bodily wastes were collected and used as fertilizers, ensuring a higher overall level of sanitation than in other countries, where wastes were stored in cesspits or otherwise disposed of. Toilets were often dark and unpleasant places where the user was at some risk of falling in or drowning. The protection of the toilet god was therefore sought to avoid such an unsanitary fate. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
The gods also had a role in promoting fertilities, blah, 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 blah. Rituals performed at the new year to ask the Kawe Kami in help for producing a good harvest. In some places, family members would sit on a straw mat in front of the toilet and eat a mouthful of rice, symbolizing eating something that the god had left. A properly appointed toilet would be decorated and kept as clean as possible, as the toilet god was considered to be very beautiful. The state of the toilet was said to have an effect on the physical appearance of unborn children. Pregnant women asked the toilet god to give boys a high nose and dimples to girls. If the toilet was dirty, however, it was said to cause children to be born ugly and unhappy. According to a different Chinese tradition, the toilet god was said to be a blind man holding a spear in his hand. This presented an obvious painful threat when squatting down to defecate, so it was regarded as necessary to clear one's throat before entering, so that the blind toilet god would sheath his spear. He'd get poked in the ass otherwise.
Ugh.
It's kind of... There's something interesting to me about... I mean, maybe this is a little too... Like, dumbass. Yeah, but it's like deities, I feel like, in a certain way, can, like, represent, like, this represents morality, the human desire for morality or justice. But it's funny, like, these kind of gods represent the human desire for, like, sanitation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like...
Well, it's very practical.
Yeah. Deifying sanitation and hygienic.
Yeah.
Hygiene.
Does it mention if there's like a Catholic saint that is like a corollary for a Catholic saint? They must have one for like plumbers or something, but
yeah. No, there probably is, but not in this article. It's mainly
they've got saints for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I wonder if there is a martyr, like the martyr of sanitation. He died stinking. Like, may this never happen to you.
Well, that was a fun one.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like practical deities like this. It's an interesting concept.
Now, I would say, you better, based on my last visit, you better watch out, or your child might be born hideous.
Better watch what you're saying. Don't be talking about my bathroom.
I just recall it being very gross.
Well, you're very gross.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah.
All right, what you want to play? You want to do your game? What you got this week?
Mine's pretty short. I'm going to be working from a list of Canadian actors and actresses. So I'm going to read a name, and I want you to guess if they're Canadian or not.
Okay.
All right. Now, if they're not Canadian, they're not going to be on the list. So it might be me making up some.
Okay.
I'm going to be working from the A's, the A last names. So the first one I have is Richard Dean Anderson. Do you know who that is?
No.
He played MacGyver, and he was on Stargate SG-1.
So what am I guessing? Is he Canadian or not?
Is he Canadian?
No.
That's correct. He's from Minnesota.
Okay.
All right. The next one is Will Arnett.
Canadian.
Correct. I was actually very surprised when I read that. All right. The next one is Kirstie Alley.
I'm going to say she's not Canadian.
That's correct. She's from Kansas.
Hmm.
All right. Dan Aykroyd.
He's Canadian, isn't he?
Yeah, that was like a gimme.
Oh, is it? I don't fucking know, really. Like,
yeah, he's like well known for being Canadian. Like he's like sometimes he'll make reference to that.
Mm.
Like I was very surprised about Will Arnett. I just thought he was like a regular California guy or something.
Mm.
All right. The next one is Amy Adams.
Who is that?
She's an actress. She was in the movie Enchanted, American Hustle, Night of the Museum 2.
I have no. I'm gonna say Canadian.
No, she's American.
Oh, okay.
She was born in Italy, but to an American serviceman.
I see.
So I guess they were born she was born like at an army base. All right. And the next one, the final one, is Richard Attenborough.
Who is he?
He's been in a lot of movies. He played the doctor in Jurassic Park. Like the scientist.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Canadian.
No, he's British.
Oh, he's British.
Yeah. And he's dead now.
Wait, who is he? The doctor in Jurassic Park? Not like the old man?
Yeah, the old man.
Yeah, like, what the hell was his name?
I can't remember. I probably should know. He was in The Great Escape. He was, let's see what else he was in. A Bridge Too Far. He was in Gandhi. He was in Chaplin. He's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah, I think I knew that guy had a pretty big career.
Wikipedia has him listed as the Right Honorable the Lord Attenborough.
I'm not a man. Like, I'm a human.
That is funny. It's kind of like the one and only, or like the king, like Elvis.
Yeah.
the Lord Attenborough.
Well, it's like how they call Donald Trump now, the Donald.
I don't think it's exactly the same thing.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's like that's a real honorific. The other guy, so.
Richard Attenborough's title is bestowed by a queen, and then Donald Trump's is bestowed by, probably
the populace.
Yeah, somebody a gawker or something. All right, well, that was a pretty short one. So, what do you have?
Okay, so I've got. This is going to be the Marvel villains game. I'm going to give you the name, and you're going to try to guess like what their gimmick or abilities are.
Villains.
Yes, for villains.
Okay.
Gustav Hertz, better known as the Armless Tiger Man.
He had tiger-like abilities?
Is that it?
No arms either? He had no arms?
Correct. He had sharp teeth that allowed for grabbing onto a chain, swing on a rope, and bite people. He had nimble, tassive agility, hurl knives between his toes, and carry heavy weights with his feet.
There's no way he would be more powerful than a guy with arms.
Well, listen, like, as the name indicates, the Armless Tiger Man does not have any arms, having lost them in an industrial accident in his youth. Instead, he is a skilled fighter with sharpened teeth and feet. Was recruited by the Gestapo, and he was used as a Nazi henchman in several Marvel comic stories set in World War II.
There's no way he would be anywhere near as good of a fighter as a regular guy with two arms.
That seems pretty ableist, though.
There's no way, because you don't have balance, and you don't have the reach.
I don't know, man. If you look at pictures of this guy, I wouldn't want to meet this guy in a dark alley. It looks like trouble.
I feel like even without a gun, it would be easy to take this guy down, based on the description.
Well, you're putting it out there. Come and get him.
Come find me.
Come at me. Come at me, arm.
Come find me, armless.
All right.
Yeah, there's no way. Teeth? It doesn't. Who cares?
You got no arms. I'll kick your ass. All right. So, what do you think Dr. Bong is?
Dr. Bong?
Yeah.
Does it have to do with marijuana?
Is that your guess? It's a weed villain?
Yes.
Incorrect. Dr. Bong possesses an advanced knowledge of genetic engineering, and he wears a bell-shaped helmet to create a number of effects.
So his power is his helmet.
Well, I guess essentially he's a scientist, but like he has a bell-shaped helmet, and he uses, I guess, like sonic type.
I don't think knowing about science should count as an ability.
That's what it says. Don't argue with me. Argue with Wikipedia.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm arguing the point.
All right. So the next one is, what do you think the ability of Ahab is?
Well, is he a ship captain type figure?
He is like a boss. Like he does, but it's not nautical related.
So it's not like Moby Dick.
No. What is Ahab's abilities?
I don't know, is he just really very strong? Is that it?
Yes, well, he is. He also possesses the ability to use an energy harpoon.
Oh, so that is nautical. A harpoon.
I guess that is nautical, yeah. Well, the weapon is.
That is like Ahab, then. That is like Moby Dick.
It is. He worked for...
Except energy instead of real harpoon.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is. It's like a real harpoon that gets energized. So he worked for the Sentinels to fight and find mutants. So let's see. What do you think Goldbug, his shtick and abilities are?
Can he turn people into gold?
No.
Is he good at stealing gold?
Yeah. I think that is part of his...
Or does he have machines that are built out of gold?
That is it.
Right.
Goldbug uses gold as a weapon and as a motif. He is a talented inventor and criminal strategist with a gifted intellect. He uses a gold gun that shoots gold dust that hardens on contact. I guess he does turn people into gold to some degree.
Well, he uses gold to solidify you?
Mm-hmm.
A man after my own heart.
Goldbug uses a jet-propelled hovercraft called the Bug Ship with gold plating, equipped with lasers, radar scanners, and suction cups for scooping up gold. He also has a submarine with gold plating, equipped with lasers, titanium grapplers, cloaking devices, and depth charges.
So it just sounds like a really rich, eccentric guy.
Yeah.
It just likes gold vehicles.
Yeah. I like this kind of off-brand villain. Like his team affiliations are they who wield power.
It's funny.
So, all right.
Sounds like Goldbug's on the loose.
We're gonna put out APB for Goldbug. All right. What do you think the Grand Director is? Like, what's his shtick?
Is he like a eugenicist?
Correct. He was the leader of a group of white supremacists.
All right. What did he look like?
He kind of looks like Wolverine, but all white costume.
Yeah. Do you have the hair like Wolverine?
I don't think you can see his hair.
Oh, does he have like a Ku Klux Klan hood?
No, it's like
a helmet?
Yeah, no. Oh my god, I didn't even really see a picture of him. He's got like fucking things poking, like it looks like Wolverine's like bat ears. You know what I mean? Like he kind of looks like Batman, except he's in all white and he has a fucking swastika armband. Like,
oh man, that sounds really funny.
It's
what's his name again? The
Grand Director.
Grand Director.
He looks fucking ridiculous.
So he's an actual Nazi though.
Probably no. I think he's a neo-Nazi. Well, actually,
I'm looking up Google image searches and it shows him paired with Captain America. So that seems pretty much like he could be an actual Nazi.
Yeah, they're saying his origin is there's some discrepancies.
Yeah, none of it fucking makes sense though.
Yeah. He looks like he showed up in stories that were clearly set in the 1950s with the character prominently battling communism and a communist Red Skull. Very strange. No, but what is this thing? He's a trained boxer, superhuman strength, peak level speed, agility, access to various forms of technology. As Captain America, he wears a chainmail costume, carries a bulletproof shield briefly, and use of an atom blaster weapon. So he's kind of like a Nazi Captain America, essentially, like a white supremacist Captain America.
Do you think there's any actual white supremacists that like treat him as like
that's my real Captain of America for me, like Grand Director. Yeah.
That'd be funny.
The only real hero for America, right?
like that's who they want their kids to buy. Like they buy their kids action figures of Grand Director.
This is who this is what a real American hero looks like, son. Not that cuckold Captain America.
Oh God.
All right, you want to hear what's Ghostmaker? What's his ability?
Does he turn you into a ghost?
I mean, in a manner of speaking, but like he's a skilled martial artist.
Okay. Does that just mean he kills you and you become a ghost?
No, that's the thing. That it's kind of.
He doesn't use like a gun that converts your energy into like a formless being. He just kills you.
That's just like a regular gun, though. You know.
But not like a thing like it sucks. Like whoa, like it sucks your body away from you, leaving the spirit.
Kind of like a Ghostbusters thing, like it sucks your ghost out of you or something. Like
it'd be like the reverse Ghostbuster because it sucks the body and leaves the spirit.
Right.
It's kind of like a same of like a guy that's just called the Widowmaker. It's essentially just like he's a killer.
I'll kill you.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see if I got anybody else that's
interesting. Sorry, you want to do one more?
Yeah, let me see if I can find one more funny one. All right, what is the abilities of Alpha, the ultimate mutant?
Alpha, can he change shape?
He can. Well, actually, no. I don't see that as the thing he can do.
Can he grow larger or anything?
All right, he is already large.
Okay. Is that the whole thing?
No.
I don't know. Is he just super strong, big and strong?
No, he's like godlike. He can transfer He's been seen transforming concrete pavement into autonomous rock men. He transformed the Hulk into a stone statue.
Oh, God.
He fused the feet of Valkyrie to the ground. He spun the airborne Nighthawk into the air until Nighthawk lost consciousness. So he's essentially God, like.
Are there any sexy ones?
Sexy supervillains?
Yeah, like a sexy female, maybe?
Let me see.
I generally prefer
Dr. Octopus.
I generally prefer good. Like, I would generally prefer heroes, but I would be interested in like a sexy villain.
I mean, there is Man Killer. I saw that one pop up. That's kind of like a femme fatale.
Yeah, that could be all right.
All right, here's a weird one. I know we're supposed to Mercutio, the 4D man.
So, what is the 4D? Is that just like time manipulation?
No, it seems like it's referring to temperature. Like,
it's weird.
Mercutio possesses an alien metabolism, granting him the ability to generate intense heat. Usually,
I guess it's like Mercury then.
Yeah.
You know,
he can now emanate intense cold and blah 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 blah.
They shouldn't have anything about 4D then.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like it means nothing.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a car wash down in like the Chapin area, and it was called a 3D car wash. And, like, my mom and I were passing it, like we'd drive by it every once in a while, and like I said, like, that car wash is 3D. And like, what does that mean? Aren't all car washes 3D? And she said it probably just means that it's owned by guys like that are named Dan. Dan, Dave, and Doug.
That's probably pretty accurate. Like,
and I said it can't be that. Like, I was positive that it meant, you know, it had something to do with
graphics. Yeah,
something. This is a little off topic, but do you remember going to car washes where it'd be one where you would sit in the car while it went through?
Yeah, I've been through a few of those.
I used to go to those, but I don't wash my own car. But when I was a kid, I used to go to those. And then at a point, I remember they used to make you get out of the car. It seemed like maybe it was a liability thing.
Yeah, or people would slip, or they had bad things happen.
I remember thinking it was fun, though, the driving through aspect.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like you were going through a cave, so like sort of like a ride, like an amusement ride where you go through a cave.
Yeah.
Like, there'd be things slapping against the windows and like water and sounds, and it'd be dark.
I remember thinking, yeah, it was kind of relaxing in a way.
Yeah, I guess this is a very like kid,
like nostalgia.
Well, not the first segment, but
right.
I mean, that was about a kid, but not nostalgia. But you know,
it's like a very is it like, what was that show? What the fuck? It's like a very
Blossom?
Wonder Years. It's like the Wonder Years episode of Wikifiends.
Yeah. I remember you told me that Wonder Years was on Netflix, but they changed all the songs. Or and I was like, maybe it's all right. And I tried to watch an episode, and the fucking I get by with a little help from my friends comes up, and it was not the Joe Kaga version, so I just turned it off. And I don't even really like that version that much. I much prefer the Beatles version.
Right.
But
no, it's distracting.
It is. I remember they did that on They've done that on an episode of Roseanne, and they did that in a key episode of Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap's kind of like a novel of convention.
No, it's not a novel of convention at all. It follows a guy traveling around.
That's what I'm saying, but like he's like the object.
No, that's no. Because everything follows a guy around. I mean, then is Die Hard a novel of convention? Because it follows a guy through an office building?
No, wait, it's really a story about that building. It's about a location.
No, it's not. Yeah. All right, well, I think this was a pretty fun episode.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah. Well, I hope you, the listener, enjoyed it. I want to remind you to get Omega Land, the post-apocalyptic tarot deck. It's very fun, and the artwork is great.
Yes, it is.
And I believe Dave is going to plug his segment later.
That's right. I hope you all have a good night.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
If you have feedback, send it to Wikifiends at gmail.com. Support the show by sending PayPal donations to Wikifiends at gmail.com.
If you love fast-paced battle card games and high fantasy, you may love David's Stay Wars Backstab. Romp with your friends through castles and dungeons. Build watch your back. You can't trust anybody. Backstab is published by US Games. Now available on Amazon. Google Backstab card game today.